I suppose many living composers write concertos because they have close relationships with the great performers of our day, and those performers are in many cases great advocates of new music, and they're very keen to expand the repertoire for their instrument and so on. So they tend to invite the living composer to write specially for them, and that's what's happened to me over the years. The Trombone Concerto I've written for Jörgen van Rijen is the latest in a long line now of 20 plus concertos.
I play in a trombone group, and we have the Trombone Collective, and we have arranged several of his choir pieces already 15 years ago, and it worked really great for trombone. So we thought already then, like, he could be a good trombone composer. And then every time I played his pieces in the orchestra, the trombone parts were beautiful and well written and nice. And each time when he came to concerts of our orchestra, I went to him and said it would be great if at some point you would write something for trombone.
And it seemed a great idea. I myself was a brass player when I was younger, a trumpet player. I've always loved writing for brass one way or another. So it's been a long time in the completion, but that's the way these things go sometimes.
The most important thing first is that he says yes, but that's the beginning of a whole process, because you need funding for it. I was very, very happy that the management of the Concertgebouworkest, they said immediately, like, if you find a few other orchestras, we will join the commission and we want to do the world premiere. When everything was sorted out with the commission, so the orchestras were there to commission the piece, then about 1 year ago we sat together once, because then James MacMillan said, now it's for me time to start writing really the concerto. After that we went in a room and I just showed him many possibilities and impossibilities of trombone. And he had questions like, how does this mute sound? How, if you would do this in a high register or that in a low register, how does it sound? He just wanted to have ideas. He had, I think, already some plans and some ideas, and he just wanted to test how things would work.
It doesn't always happen, but there is something very vital about being able to liaise with a soloist even before you start writing, to find out what he's like, of course, to know his or her playing, but also to get some input into a conversation which is ongoing and will go on beyond the first performance of the music. Of course, I've got to know his playing quite well over the years, and I know what a special player he is and how he makes this instrument, which some can sometimes caricature as a one-dimensional instrument. It does this kind of thing very well, but not this. But Jurgen has this singing tone, especially in his upper register, which can sometimes sound like a tenor horn or a euphonium or something. It's another worldly sound, and that experience of getting to know his playing perhaps shaped the nature of the piece. Yes, it is very virtuosic, and yes, the trombone, being a brass instrument, is loud and can deliver very outdoor gestures, but it can also be very intimate as well. And Jurgen's input, the discussion of all those kind of things, not just the ranges, but the sound colours, the use of the mutes and so on, was vital in the way that I began to think about the music.
Sempre leggero, he also wrote something.
Yeah.
About half a year ago, I got an email from MacMillan that he finished the piece and the publisher would send me a score, and I was on tour at that moment, so when I came home, I knew there was this envelope with a score. Of course, first I wanted to see my family, but then very quickly I went to open the score, and it was a handwritten score, so very small notes. And yeah, you look through it and you try to find a first idea about the piece. I found this very, very clear in the beginning, is this idea of these 7 notes that develop into, and there's a beautiful trombone melody, which I saw directly like, wow, that can be beautiful.
I have musical dreams sometimes. Some of them are daydreams, but I hear music in various places, and it gets into my psyche. So I had this little theme which came to me gradually, which is the opening theme, which is it's played. It's an F, F, G, F, F, A flat, F. Just those handful of notes, and that provides the bundle of material from which everything else comes.
Of course, it's very special to have the composer right there when you play, and I think it's great because you can still discuss with Beethoven or Brahms. You cannot discuss anymore how something is meant or what the idea was behind it, and it's great if the composer is right there. Every note you see on paper, there's many possibilities of how you can play it, and it's great to you don't have to. You are a musician yourself, so you have your own opinion, but it's great to have as a starting point to have a composer there and to know what was meant with it.
The work has a double dedication. It is, of course, dedicated to Jörgen van Rijen, the soloist who asked me for it. But it was also written at a time of family and personal tragedy. My little granddaughter, Sarah Maria, died at the beginning of last year. And of course, this is a terrible thing for any family, and any grandparents out there, or parents, of course, will know what the implications of that is. But so there's nothing else really for me to say about it, except that, you know, when I recovered sufficiently, and I don't think I will recover, to be honest, and who can, but when it was time to get back to work, it was the Trombone Concerto that was on my desk, ready to be written. And so I don't think any artist can write or create in a vacuum, and that experiences like that, whether one wants it or not, it must be fed into the creative life and has some kind of outcome in what one hears. I see this concerto as taking the listener on a journey through many moods and many atmospheres. Some of those atmospheres are sad and reflective, but some are the exact opposite, convulsive, eruptive music with strange street sounds. It's an evocation of the spiritual life, but also the physical life that we find ourselves in, maybe hovering between those two worlds.
Besides the world premiere we do this week with the Royal Concertgebouworkest, I will be going to 5 other orchestras. It will be the Royal Flemish Orchestra in Antwerp, Orchestre Suisse Romande in Geneva, the Dallas Symphony in Dallas, obviously, and the Theatre of Cottbus Orchestra in Germany, and the Orchestra of Oulu Sinfonia in Finland. Of course I'm nervous. This kind of big pieces, you're always nervous because it's really challenging technically, and you want to find a way to just make music, and people should not hear that it's difficult, but in the same time it is difficult. So you're always nervous, but that's also good. I mean, you have adrenaline, and you try to make the best of it.